The night was silent in the ruins of an alien world. Broken towers stood like dark teeth against the sky. The wind carried dust through empty streets where no voices had spoken for thousands of years. A lone human walked slowly, his boots crunching on strange stone. His name was Daniel. He was an explorer, but more than that, he was curious. He wanted to know what secrets waited in the places where no other human dared to go. Daniel's flashlight beam cut through the darkness. His breath echoed in his helmet. Everything felt dead here. No life, no movement, only shadows. But then, something strange happened. He stopped. A sound reached his ears, soft and trembling. At first he thought it was the wind, but then he froze again. It was not the wind, it was crying. Daniel's heart beat faster. Crying, here, on a dead world? His hand moved to his sidearm, but he did not pull it out yet. He moved carefully, one step at a time, following the sound. The ruins grew darker and tighter as he walked between broken walls. The crying became clearer. It was gentle, sad, almost like a mother's sorrow. Daniel felt something inside him stir. It did not sound dangerous. It sounded lonely. He turned a corner and his light fell on a figure. He froze. In the shadows sat a creature he had never seen before. Its body was thin, its skin pale silver with faint glowing lines running across it like veins of light. Its eyes were large, shining with tears. It was holding something close to its chest, a small object that glowed with soft blue light. Daniel's breath caught in his throat. The creature looked up. Their eyes met. He expected fear. He expected it to run or attack, but it did neither. Instead, the alien mother reached out a trembling hand as if begging. Her voice came, broken, heavy with sorrow. Help, please. Daniel's skin went cold. He understood the words. He did not know how, but he understood. He stepped closer, his hand ready to draw his weapon, but something in those eyes made him stop. They were not the eyes of a monster. They were the eyes of someone who had lost everything. Who are you? Daniel whispered. The alien mother shook her head slowly. She seemed too weak to explain. Her tears fell, glowing faintly as they touched the stone floor. She looked down at the object in her arms and then back at him. Daniel crouched slightly, keeping a safe distance. The glow from the object lit her face, and for the first time, he saw something shocking. The object was not just a stone, not just a tool. It pulsed like a heartbeat, and when Daniel's eyes locked onto it, he felt something stir deep inside him like a whisper at the edge of his mind. The alien mother clutched it tighter and whispered again. Take it. Daniel's pulse raced. Why him? Why offer something so precious to a stranger? He looked around, scanning the ruins, but they were alone. The world was silent except for her trembling breath. No, Daniel muttered. I can't. But the alien mother's hand stretched out again, desperate. Her voice cracked. Only human. Only you. The words hit him like a thunderclap. Only human? How did she know? What did she mean? Daniel felt a strange weight press on his chest. He had traveled across stars, but never had he felt like this. Like something was choosing him, testing him. He reached out slowly. His fingers brushed the glowing object, and then everything changed. The moment he touched it, the glow flared brighter, wrapping around his hand. He gasped as warmth surged into his body. Images flashed before his eyes. Broken cities, alien battles, a world on fire. He staggered back, clutching his head. The alien mother's eyes shone with hope for the first time. She whispered something in her language, and though Daniel did not know the words, he felt their meaning. You are the last chance. Daniel stumbled, his mind racing. He wanted to throw the object away, to run, but it clung to his skin as if alive. He stared at the alien mother. She was weak, dying maybe, but her gaze held power. She believed in him. She believed in humans. Daniel shook his head. Why me? He whispered, but no answer came. Only silence and the sound of her tears falling. Then, far in the ruins, another sound rose. A deep, echoing roar. Daniel's blood froze. Something else was here. Something hunting. The alien mother looked toward the sound with terror in her eyes. She grabbed Daniel's arm with surprising strength and hissed, "Run!" The roar came again, louder, closer. Daniel looked at her, then at the glowing object stuck to his hand. His mind was a storm of fear and questions, but he knew one thing. His life had just changed forever, and whatever was coming for them, it was already too late to turn back. Daniel's legs felt heavy as he stood frozen in the ruins. The alien mother's hand still clutched his arm, weak but desperate. The glowing object pulsed against his skin, warm and alive, as if it had already chosen him. The roar from the shadows faded, but Daniel knew it was not gone. Something dangerous was close, something hunting. The alien mother looked at him with eyes full of fear and hope. Her voice was low, broken, yet clear enough for him to understand. "You must take it," she whispered. Daniel shook his head. "What is it? Why me? I don't even know what this thing is." The alien mother's tears shone in the dim light. She pressed the glowing object harder into his chest, and Daniel felt it sink deeper against his skin. It did not fall. It did not move. It bonded. "You are human," she said softly. "That is enough." Daniel's mind raced. Enough, what could she mean? Out of all the beings in the galaxy, why would only humans matter? The alien mother leaned back, her body trembling with weakness. Her voice grew softer, but each word carried weight. "My people tried," she said. "We tried to carry this gift. We failed, it destroys us. But you, humans, you survive what others cannot." Daniel frowned. "Survive what?" The alien mother's eyes glistened. The end. Before Daniel could ask more, the glowing object flared again. His vision blurred and images flashed inside his head. Not memories, not dreams, but pieces of history. He saw an alien city burning, towers collapsing in fire. He saw skies torn apart by ships that rained destruction. He saw creatures twisted and merciless hunting anything that moved, and then silence, a world gone cold. Empty. Daniel gasped and staggered back, clutching his head. His breath came in short bursts. "That was your world, wasn't it?" The alien mother nodded, her lips trembling. "Yes, my people are no more. Only I remain. And now, this gift must not die with me." Daniel felt the weight of her words. A dying race. A final hope. And she was placing it all on him. "Why should I take it?" he asked, his voice sharp, though inside he already knew the answer. The alien mother lifted her hand to his chest. Her touch was cold, but her eyes were burning with something stronger than fire. "Because if you do not," she whispered, "they will win." Daniel's stomach turned. "They?" The mother's eyes flicked toward the dark ruins, toward the sound of the distant roar. Her voice cracked with fear. "The hunters, the destroyers, they are coming even now. They killed my world. They will kill yours, unless you carry what we could not." Daniel stood frozen. The weight of her words pressed into his heart. He was just an explorer, not a soldier, not a hero. Yet this alien, this mother, was looking at him as if he were the last hope of two species. He wanted to run. He wanted to throw the glowing object away, but the truth was clear. It would not leave him. It had chosen him. The alien mother's voice grew weaker. "This is my child, and my people's last seed." Daniel's eyes widened. "Child?" The glowing object pulsed almost like it was breathing. Daniel realized in horror and awe that it was alive. Not just a tool, not just a weapon, but something much greater. The alien mother's tears fell as she nodded. "It carries all we were. Our knowledge, our strength, our future. You must protect it. You must keep it safe." Daniel's throat tightened. Protect a child? Carry the legacy of an entire species? He felt small, powerless, unworthy. He shook his head. "I can't. I'm not." The alien mother suddenly grabbed his hand with surprising strength. Her eyes burned into his. "You are human," she whispered again, her voice fierce despite her weakness. "Humans endure. Where others fall, you rise. That is why only you can carry it." Daniel's heart pounded. Deep inside, he knew she believed in something about humans he could not see in himself. But could he refuse? Before he could answer, the sound returned. The roar. Louder this time, closer. The ruins trembled as if something massive moved through them. Shadows shifted, crawling along the walls. The alien mother's body shook with terror. "They are here," she whispered. Daniel looked into the darkness. He could not see them yet, but he felt their presence. Watching. Waiting. The glowing object pulsed again, sending a strange strength into his veins. His fear remained, but it did not paralyze him. For the first time, he felt ready to stand. The alien mother collapsed against the wall, too weak to rise. Her voice was almost gone, but she forced out one final plea. "Protect it, protect my child, promise." Daniel knelt beside her, his hand over the glowing object. He looked into her dying eyes, and though he did not know if he could keep such a promise, he spoke the words, "I promise." The alien mother smiled faintly, a smile mixed with sorrow and relief. She closed her eyes, whispering in her own language, words Daniel could not understand but somehow felt. Then, the roar shook the ruins again. Daniel turned, his hand gripping his sidearm at last. The shadows in the distance moved. The hunters were coming. The promise he made was already being tested, and deep inside, Daniel knew this was only the beginning. The ruins shook as Daniel pressed himself against a broken wall. His hand gripped the sidearm tightly, and the glowing seed pulsed against his chest like a second heartbeat. The alien mother was too weak to move, but her eyes never left him. "They will not stop," she whispered, her voice cracking. "Not until they take it." Daniel swallowed hard. "Then tell me what this really is. Tell me why it chose me." The alien mother looked at him with sorrow. For a moment, Daniel thought she might stay silent. But then her trembling hands moved, pointing toward the glowing seed. "That," she said slowly, "is all that remains of us. But it is not only a child. It is memory. It is history. It is truth." Daniel frowned. "Truth?" Her eyes glistened. "Yes, the truth of why we died. And why you must not." The glow from the seed spread suddenly, and Daniel felt a pull inside his mind. The ruins around him vanished. His body stiffened as if dragged into a storm. And then he saw a city of light, alien towers taller than any human building. The sky filled with silver ships. The alien mother's people walked proudly, strong and beautiful. They were builders, dreamers, creators. But then shadows tore through the skies. Ships of black metal, sharp like blades, descended without warning. They rained fire, burning the cities to ash. The ground split and the people screamed. Daniel saw soldiers fight. He saw mothers run with their children. He saw the world fall into chaos. And in the middle of that storm, he saw the hunters. Tall, monstrous beings, their armor like obsidian, their eyes burning red. They moved with hunger, not just to kill but to erase. They hunted without mercy, tearing down everything the alien mother's people had built. The vision shifted again. Daniel saw scientists desperate, building the glowing seed. They poured their knowledge, their history, their very souls into it. He saw them try to bond with it, but each attempt ended in death. The seed rejected them. Then came the last vision, the alien mother herself. She cradled the seed as her people fell around her. She wept as the world turned silent, and then darkness. Daniel gasped and staggered back, his chest heaving. The vision ended, but its weight pressed into him like a mountain. He looked at the alien mother, trembling. "Your people, they tried to survive, but the seed killed them." She nodded slowly, her tears shining. "We were too fragile, too proud. We thought our minds strong, but we were wrong. It broke us. It burned us." Daniel touched the seed, feeling its pulse steady inside him. "Then why me? Why doesn't it kill me too?" The alien mother looked at him with strange reverence. "Because you are human." Daniel frowned. "That again. What makes humans so different?" Her voice grew sharp even in weakness. "Because you adapt. You endure what should break you. The storms that kill others. You survive them. That is why the seed chose you. That is why we believed in your kind long ago." Daniel's mind spun. He had always thought humans were small in the universe, fragile compared to other species. But she was saying the opposite, that humans were unique not because of power but because of survival. The alien mother leaned closer, her breath shallow. "Long before your kind rose, we watched your world. We saw humans crawl from caves, fight monsters, survive endless wars, rise again and again. Weak bodies, short lives, yet always standing when stronger beings fell. We thought it was luck, but no. It was something greater." Her eyes burned into his. "It is what makes you dangerous. And it is why the hunters fear you." Daniel froze. Fear him? Humans? That seemed impossible. Yet the seed pulsed as if agreeing with her words. Suddenly the roar came again, shaking the ruins. This time closer. The hunters were not waiting. They were coming. Daniel turned toward the sound, his sidearm ready. But doubt gnawed at him. "I'm not a soldier. I'm not a savior. I can't fight whatever those things are." The alien mother gripped his wrist. Her hand was weak, but her voice was steel. "You can, because you must. The seed will guide you, but you must survive long enough to use it." Daniel's jaw tightened. He had no choice now. He was carrying the last breath of a dead race, and the hunters wanted it. He crouched lower, scanning the shadows. The ruins seemed alive with movement. Shapes flickered in the dark. His finger tightened on the trigger. The alien mother whispered her final words of warning. Remember this, they do not only kill, they erase. They erase history. They erase truth. If they take the seed, no one will ever know we lived. No one will ever know what humans are meant to be. Daniel felt a shiver run down his spine. The forgotten truth was not just about the alien race. It was about humanity itself. The hunters roared again, their footsteps shaking the stones. Daniel stood tall, heart racing, every nerve on fire. The promise he had made to her echoed in his head. He would protect the seed. He would carry the truth. And as the shadows closed in, Daniel whispered to himself, his voice trembling but firm. Then they'll have to erase me first. The ruins no longer felt empty. They pulsed with danger. Daniel's heartbeat matched the glowing seed against his chest. Every shadow moved. Every gust of wind sounded like footsteps. The alien mother pressed weakly against the wall, her breath shallow, her eyes wide with terror. They are close, she whispered. Daniel raised his sidearm, but his hands trembled. He had fought before, against men, against nature, but never against monsters from another world. He forced himself to steady his breathing. If he gave in to fear now, it was over. From the corner of his eye, he caught movement. Something huge shifted between the broken towers. Then came the sound again, that deep growling roar, low and hungry. The hunters. Daniel's skin prickled. He crouched lower, scanning the ruins. And then he saw one. A tall figure stepped into the dim light. Its body was wrapped in dark armor, jagged and sharp like obsidian shards. Its eyes glowed red, burning like coals in the night. It carried no weapon because it was a weapon. Every part of it radiated violence. It sniffed the air, and Daniel's stomach dropped. The hunter could smell them. The alien mother's lips trembled. Do not let it take the seed. Whatever happens, do not let it near. Daniel gritted his teeth. I'll try, he whispered back. But inside his mind screamed, how? The hunter tilted its head, listening. Its glowing eyes fixed on Daniel's hiding place, and then it moved. The creature rushed forward with terrifying speed, faster than Daniel thought possible for something so large. Stone cracked under its steps. Daniel fired. The shot echoed across the ruins, sparks flying as the bullet struck the hunter's chest. But instead of falling, the monster barely flinched. Its armor was too strong. Daniel cursed and fired again, aiming higher. This time the shot hit near the creature's neck. It staggered, but only for a moment. Its roar shook the ruins, and it lunged. Daniel rolled aside, the creature's claws slamming into the ground where he had stood. The stone shattered, sending shards flying. Daniel scrambled back to his feet, heart pounding. The seed pulsed harder, almost painfully, as if urging him to act. Suddenly, his sidearm hummed faintly in his hand. The glow from the seed spread into the weapon, making the metal burn with strange blue light. Daniel blinked.
What the?
The hunter charged again. Instinct took over. Daniel fired. This time the bullet ripped through the monster's shoulder, tearing a hole in its armor. The hunter howled in rage, stumbling back. Daniel stared at the weapon, shocked. The seed was enhancing him, enhancing his tools. It was fighting with him. The alien mother gave a weak smile, even in her pain. It accepts you, she whispered. It will not let you fall. But there was no time to celebrate. 2 more hunters appeared from the shadows. Their glowing eyes locked onto Daniel, their snarls echoing like thunder. Daniel's stomach twisted. 1 had been nearly impossible. 3 was madness. The alien mother tried to stand but collapsed, too weak to help. Daniel clenched his jaw. He couldn't fight them all. He had to survive for her, for the seed. The first hunter roared and leapt forward again. Daniel dove behind a broken wall, bullets flashing with blue light as he fired wildly. The ruins shook as the monster struck, claws tearing through stone like paper. Dust filled the air. Daniel coughed, his lungs burning. The seed pulsed stronger, and for a brief second he felt something strange. A whisper in his mind. Not words, not images, but instinct. Guidance. Move left. Daniel obeyed, rolling aside just as a claw sliced down where his head had been. He fired again, catching 1 hunter in the leg. It stumbled, crashing into another. The ruins echoed with roars, gunfire, and Daniel's ragged breath. He moved, dodging, firing, never stopping. Every second felt like the last. But then one hunter managed to corner him. Its claw swung, slamming into his chest. The air left his lungs as he was thrown across the stones. His weapon clattered away. The hunter loomed over him, its red eyes blazing. It raised its claw for the final strike, and then, light. The seed on Daniel's chest burst into a flare of blue. Energy surged through his body. His arm lifted on its own, and a wave of force exploded outward. The hunter was thrown back, smashing into a wall with a roar of pain. Daniel gasped, staring at his hands. The seed wasn't just enhancing his weapon, it was enhancing him. The alien mother's voice trembled in awe. "It begins." The remaining hunters hesitated for the first time. They had expected prey, but now they saw something else. Daniel pushed himself to his feet, chest heaving, blue light crackling faintly across his skin. His fear was still there, but it no longer ruled him. He looked at the hunters, his voice steady despite the terror. "Come on, then." The ruins fell silent for a heartbeat. Then the hunters roared together, rushing at him with fury. The battle for the seed had truly begun. The ruins were quiet again, but only for a moment. The broken walls still smoked from the battle. The hunters had retreated into the shadows, wounded, but not destroyed. Daniel stood with his chest heaving, his hands shaking, the faint blue light from the seed still flickering across his skin. He looked down at his weapon, now dim once more. The glow had faded, leaving only silence. His body ached all over. He was alive, but barely. And then he turned. The alien mother lay slumped against the wall where she had been hiding. Her breaths were shallow, her body trembling. Her silver skin, once glowing faintly, now looked pale and fragile. Daniel rushed to her side. "Stay with me. We'll move. We'll find safety." Her lips curled into a weak smile. She shook her head slowly. "No, my time has already gone." Daniel's stomach twisted. "Don't say that. You've survived this long. We'll find a way." But her eyes, deep and sorrowful, told him the truth. She had given everything to reach this moment. The seed had drained her strength. The battle had stolen the rest. "You must—" "Listen," she whispered. Her hand, trembling, reached for his. He took it gently. Her touch was cold, yet it carried the weight of something final. "I cannot carry it anymore," she said. "But you can. You must." Daniel swallowed hard. "What do you mean?" Her eyes glistened. "The seed is not just power. It is life. It is—" "My child," Daniel froze. He looked at the glowing seed against his chest. It pulsed faintly like a heartbeat. A living thing. "A legacy. This child," she said softly, "carries my people. Our memories, our voices, our hope. If you protect it, we will not die completely. If you fail, we will be erased." Daniel's throat tightened. He had faced battles before, but never a choice like this. Carrying a weapon was one thing. Carrying a child, an entire race, was something else. He shook his head. "I'm not ready for this. I'm no guardian. I'm not a father. I don't even know what this thing needs." Her grip tightened weakly. "You don't need to know. You only need to keep it safe. It will grow. It will learn. And one day it may save not only us, but you too." Her words struck him harder than any blow. The hunters were not just her enemies. They were coming for humanity as well. If he refused, if he let the seed die, he wasn't just letting her people vanish. He might be dooming his own. Daniel looked into her fading eyes. "Why me?" She smiled faintly. "Because you are human. And humans endure." Silence fell between them, broken only by the distant echoes of hunters searching the ruins. The air was heavy with dust, with sorrow, with choice. Daniel felt his chest burn. He wanted to say no, to run, to pretend this was not his burden. But deep inside he knew. He had already made the promise. He had already accepted. The alien mother's breathing grew weaker. She pulled her hand toward the seed, pressing it against his chest. Her voice was now just a whisper. "Promise me again." Out loud, Daniel's voice cracked, but he spoke. "I promise. I'll protect it. I'll protect your child." Her eyes closed, a single tear rolling down her cheek. Relief washed over her face as if centuries of sorrow had finally lifted. "Then my people live," she breathed. Her body went still. Daniel stared, frozen. The silence of her passing felt heavier than the ruins themselves. He lowered his head, the weight of her last words crushing him. For a long moment he did not move. He wanted to grieve. He wanted to scream, but there was no time. A roar shattered the stillness. Daniel lifted his head sharply. The hunters were coming again. They had not given up. If anything, they were angrier now. They had sensed the mother's death and the seed's choice. Daniel clenched his jaw. He touched the glowing seed which pulsed steadily against him, as if alive, as if listening. The mother was gone, but her legacy remained. Her child, her people, all inside him. The hunters' shadows stretched across the ruins, their eyes glowing red in the distance. Daniel stood slowly, his body still aching, but his resolve harder than stone. He was not just fighting for himself anymore. He was carrying something greater. He whispered to the seed, though he didn't know if it could hear. I don't know what you are. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. But I'll keep you safe. That's a promise. The seed pulsed, a faint glow spreading across his chest like an answer. The hunters roared, their claws scraping stone as they closed in. Daniel tightened his grip on his weapon, blue sparks beginning to hum faintly along the barrel. His fear had not vanished. His doubts had not disappeared. But now there was something else inside him, responsibility, and responsibility could turn fear into fire. The choice was made. There was no turning back. Daniel raised his weapon, eyes locked on the shadows. They'll have to go through me first, he whispered, and the ruins trembled as the hunters arrived once more. The ruins shook with every step of the hunters. Their claws scraped against broken stone, their glowing red eyes cutting through the dust and shadows. Daniel stood tall, his weapon humming faintly with blue light. The seed against his chest pulsed harder than ever, as if it sensed the danger too. He whispered under his breath, "Not today." The hunters roared together and charged. Daniel opened fire. Blue-lit bullets tore through the air, striking the first hunter in the chest. Sparks flew, armor cracked, but the monster kept coming. Another leapt from the side, claws aimed at Daniel's head. He ducked, rolled, and fired upward, the bullet piercing through the creature's jaw. It howled in pain and fell, but there were too many. A claw ripped across Daniel's arm, burning through his sleeve. He screamed, stumbling back, blood dripping onto the ground. His vision blurred with pain. Another hunter lunged, its massive body crashing into him. He hit the ground hard, his weapon flying from his grip. The hunter raised its claw for the final strike. Daniel raised his hands in reflex, and light exploded. Blue energy burst out of him, a wave so strong it blasted the hunter backward into a wall. The ruins shook from the impact. Dust filled the air. Daniel stared at his hands in shock. They were glowing faintly, crackling with blue lightning. What's happening to me? He whispered, the seed pulsed as if answering. His body felt different, stronger, faster. The pain in his arm faded, the wound closing before his eyes. His heart pounded, but not with fear. With power, the hunters hesitated. For the first time, their glowing red eyes showed something Daniel had never expected. Not hunger. Not rage. Fear. Daniel stood slowly, his fists still glowing. The seed's energy coursed through his veins, filling him with strength. He could hear things now. The heartbeat of the hunters, the shift of their claws against stone, even the distant hum of energy in the ruins. His senses were sharper, his body lighter. He clenched his fists. Let's see if this works. The first hunter roared and charged again. Daniel didn't move away this time. He stood his ground and swung his fist forward. Blue light erupted from his strike, crashing into the hunter's chest like a hammer. The monster flew backward, smashing through a wall and collapsing in rubble. Daniel stared at his hand, his chest heaving. That was me. The other hunters circled him, growling. But now Daniel didn't feel like prey. For the first time since stepping into these ruins, he felt like a predator. The hunters lunged together. Daniel moved faster than he thought possible. He dodged one, leapt over another, and slammed his foot into the third's chest. Blue energy flared, sending the monster flying. He grabbed his fallen weapon, which now glowed brighter with his touch, and fired. The bullet tore through the hunter's eye, silencing it forever. The ruins shook with the sounds of battle. Claws clashed against light. Roars echoed into the night. Daniel fought like a storm. Every move guided not just by his own instincts, but by the whispers of the seed. It was inside him, showing him where to move, when to strike, how to survive. Finally, silence. The last hunter collapsed into the dust, its body smoldering with blue light. The ruins were still again, except for Daniel's ragged breathing. He staggered, his body trembling with exhaustion but also alive with new power. The seed pulsed calmly now, no longer desperate, but steady, like a heartbeat in perfect rhythm with his own. Daniel fell to his knees, gripping the ground. His reflection in a cracked piece of alien glass made him freeze. His eyes. For a brief second, they glowed faintly blue. He stumbled back, shaking his head. No, I'm still human. I'm still me, but was he? The seed was changing him. Not just healing him. Not just guiding him. It was becoming part of him. He touched his chest where it pulsed. What are you doing to me? The ruins were silent, but inside his head he felt something, a faint echo. A child's cry, soft and distant, but real. He froze, his blood running cold. The seed wasn't just alive. It was aware. Before he could think more, a distant roar echoed again. More hunters, many more. They were not giving up. The first wave had failed, but the next was coming. Daniel's legs felt heavy as he rose. He wanted to rest. He wanted to run. But the memory of the alien mother's final words rang in his ears. Promise me. He clenched his fists. His body still shook, his mind still doubted, but his resolve burned brighter than fear. He looked toward the darkness where the roars grew louder. Come then, he whispered, blue light flickering around his hands. I'll be ready. The ruins trembled once more, the shadows alive with movement, and in that moment Daniel understood the truth. He was no longer fighting only to survive. He was transforming into something new, something the hunters feared, something only a human could become. The ruins trembled with the sound of countless footsteps. The hunters were coming again, more than before, their roars echoing like thunder. Dust shook loose from broken towers as the night filled with red, glowing eyes. Daniel stood alone in the center of the ruins. His body was bruised, his chest burned with the weight of the seed, but he did not back away. The alien mother's last words still echoed in his heart. Protect it. Protect my child. The seed pulsed against his chest, steady and strong, like it was ready to. Blue light flickered faintly across his arms. He clenched his fists, his breath sharp. All right, he muttered. Let's finish this. The first wave of hunters charged, claws raised high. Daniel didn't run. He leapt forward faster than ever before. His fist cracked against the first hunter's jaw, a shockwave of blue energy exploding on impact. The creature flew into the air, crashing into two more. Another lunged from the side, but Daniel spun and kicked, his foot glowing as it struck. The hunter's chest caved in with a roar, its body falling limp. But for every one that fell, three more appeared. Daniel fought like a storm, every move guided by instinct and the whispers of the seed. Bullets glowed blue as they tore through armor. Blasts of energy burst from his strikes. The ruins became a battlefield of fire, dust, and light. Yet the hunters were endless. Their numbers grew, shadows flooding the ruins. Daniel's body screamed with exhaustion. His hands shook, his breath grew heavy. For every monster he knocked down, two more circled him. His knees buckled. A claw slashed across his side, blood spilling. He staggered, nearly falling. The hunters closed in, ready to end him. But then, the seed flared. Blue light surged across his body, brighter than ever before. His wounds sealed, his strength returned. But this time it was different. His mind filled with voices. Not human voices. Alien whispers, thousands of them. Men, women, children. The lost people of the mother. They were not gone. They lived inside the seed, and now, inside him, Daniel's fear melted away. He stood tall, his eyes glowing bright blue, his body alive with energy. He wasn't just fighting as a man anymore. He was carrying an entire civilization. The hunters froze. For the first time, their roars faltered. They had seen humans before, but never this. Daniel raised his glowing hand. This ends now. He slammed his palm to the ground. A wave of blue light exploded outward, shaking the ruins to their foundations. Hunters were thrown in every direction, their armor shattering, their bodies burning in the storm of energy. Their screams filled the night, then faded into silence. When the dust cleared, the ruins were quiet. Daniel stood alone, his body trembling, smoke rising from the broken ground. The hunters were gone. Only the echoes of their destruction remained. Slowly, Daniel fell to his knees. His chest rose and fell heavily, his hands shaking as the glow faded. The seed pulsed calmly against him, no longer wild, no longer desperate. It was at peace, the battle was over. For now, Daniel looked at the sky. The stars stretched endlessly above him, cold and distant. Somewhere out there more hunters waited. More enemies would come. This was not the end. This was only the beginning. He touched the seed gently. We survived, he whispered. But what now? In his mind, he felt it again, a soft echo. Not the voices of thousands, not the storm of memories. Just one small sound. A child's cry. Weak but alive. Daniel closed his eyes. A faint smile touched his lips. You're still here, good, then we'll keep going, together. He rose slowly, his body heavy but his spirit unbroken. The alien mother was gone, but her legacy lived inside him. Her people's future rested in his hands. He looked once more at the ruins, silent and empty. They were graves now, but not forgotten. As long as the seed lived, their story lived too. Daniel turned toward the dark horizon. His journey was not finished. He had promises to keep. He whispered to the stars. They thought they erased you. They were wrong. And if they come for me, if they come for humans, his eyes glowed faintly blue once more. We'll show them why we endure. The wind carried his words into the night. The ruins stood silent, but something new had been born there. Not just survival, not just power, a new beginning.